Hey everybody, welcome to Efox Realm. My name is Cody, and today, well, happy Halloween. With that being said, let's go ahead and jump into the first episode of the podcast. Um, like I said, my name is Cody. I am just now starting out my Efox Realm. This is a different one. My other one wasn't able to do anything. The computer malfunctioned or something, I'm not sure. So everything's done by cell phone for right now. So bear with me. But it'll get better, I promise. When I put my mind to something, that shit gets done. Um, we are at Culture's Lodge right now for the podcast because I just got done doing a ghost hunting video, and I'll have that posted for you guys in a little bit as well. Um, it's Halloween, like I said. I hope you guys had a good Halloween. Comment down below what y'all did, if y'all had a good time, if y'all saw anything spooky or anything paranormal, if y'all watched anything fun. In the spirit of Halloween, let's go ahead and talk about some ghosts and stuff. Since, I just got done ghost hunting, which is a pretty good episode. I'm not gonna lie, for the first ghost hunting of 2025, yeah, it's worth it. We actually got some cat ball action. I don't know if we had any voices captured, but I heard giggling, I've heard stomping, moving around, which is pretty good. Thought I saw a shadow. That might be on the camera. I'm not entirely sure yet. I haven't went back and did any of the footage to verify, but I know some orbs, hella good orbs. So yeah, I'm trying to make this my life. I love ghost hunting. I love the paranormal. I love fishing and hunting. I love people, man. I hate people, but I love them at the same time. Like, humanity can be some of the most incredible things on this planet, but also humanity could be some of the most dumbest things on the planet. But, you gotta take it from the good to the bad. I'm solo right now. It's a drag. I had a start of 4 people. We now journaled it down to just me. So maybe that'll change and I'll have some more people on here I can trust. I need some people who, if they are going to do this, they need to be dedicated. They need to have their shit figured out. I don't need issues or nothing like that. So I said, you know what? I'm just gonna do a solo. And these people that aren't with me anymore, they're not even friends anymore. So, you know what I mean? It makes no sense. It was just unnecessary drama when really one person had a really cool idea and the other one was just jealous. And I don't care. I really don't care. But I'm gonna just keep on trucking. I'm just gonna deal with the blows and swing back just as hard as I can. Because I'm behind. I should have had this shit started in 2024. Same. Damn near a year later. And I finally got my first episode out, so that lets you know the drawback. And the repercussions of everything that took place between it, so sorry for all that. That being said, no more delays. I'm here, and EFOC gonna take over, and this is what I'm doing. So, like I said, I just got done shooting my first ghost hunt. It went great. There's many more. Comment down below where would you like me to go, and one of my couple of places I would like to go see and investigate would be, asylums. The Winchester Manor, Ferrari Farms. There's just so many to name. It's just exciting, My plan on going skinwalker, investigating, get Bigfoot hunting, to a little term, Bigfoot hunting, meaning I want a head on my wall. I'll be doing some events. I'll be going out to events and sharing events and stuff like that as well. I'm gonna be working on some merchandise. I have some beanies. I'm gonna put my logos on some beanies and get some shirts and designs for some shirts and some hoodies and some sweatshirts. I'll have some coffee mugs, some canned koozies, to keep your shit like that. Eventually, I'm gonna work my way up to where I'll have a coffee line product to where I can have like some canned coffees sold from gas stations to, if you want to brew some coffee at the house, I'll have a pound of coffee beans pre-ground so that way you don't have to grind them up if you don't want to. I got logos designed, I've got packaging design. I just need to pick it all out, figure out where to go, get that figured out. And when I get my market up and running for my shirts and my coffee and all that, I'll have it all on my website, and I'll have the description on my YouTube channel and my Facebook channel whenever that do get that up and running. It's a slow start, like I said, and I apologize for that. It was unfair to you, the viewers, to be told such a thing and then have to wait a year later for it, and I apologize 100%. I'm sorry. Uncool on my end for allowing them to do that. I should have just said screw it from the get-go. It was just going to be me in the end. And now here we are, by myself. They're not here, so it's all good. Sorry for the noise in the background. I'm at Coulter's Lodge. Like I said, they have a bar attachment, so I'm utilizing my little time here to go and make a podcast. So welcome to the podcast part of it. So yeah. There's a place in Louisiana I went to. It was pretty spooky once. It was a abortion clinic. It actually burned down. And it was actually really creepy to the point of the nature of its being. There were some x-rays of babies. They had horns, not making that up, real x-ray files of babies with fucking horns. There was a basement that was attached to it, and it was chained up when I first went. Now, my first time going was pretty spooky because I had a buddy of mine get scratched. I held a door back from busting open when there was nobody on the other side. I had 3 doors slam open on us, and I saw a full-blown, sorry, I got the hiccups, a full-blown apparition on the other side of a door. It was pretty spooky. I went back 3 days later. There was a Virgin Mary standing there, and it physically, in front of me, twisted 180 degrees. Meaning, its back was to me when it started spinning, and its face was facing me when it was finished. You know what I mean? So, it was pretty spooky, but it ended up catching fire somehow and burning down. So, I'll never be able to go back there again, unfortunately, because that was a spot. Man, I wish I could go back. I should have recorded all of that when I had the chance. Let's see. There's something going on in our skies, even as we speak right now, and it's got something to do with 3i Atlas. A lot of people are saying and speculating that, mind you, this is all for entertainment purposes only. This is a podcast comedy show for right now. But, yeah, some people are speculating it's got aliens. Some people I've even heard people say that it might have vampires. Now that is scary to think about. Let's ponder that for a second, Vampires, a whole colony of vampires, what number dictates a colony? You know what I mean? Could there be 1,000 vampires? What kind of damage would 1,000 vampires do to a humanity? We have 11 billion, 8 billion people on this planet, flat Earth. whatever. Who's to say, it couldn't be giants, the Nephilim? The flood happened. What if some of them got on a ship and left? What if it's a race of beings that we're not ready for? We've all seen that one video, that guy, he had the meteorite and it turned into that thing, like Venom. What if that's a fucking xenomorph type of thing? There's no telling what it could be. A long time ago, about 70 years ago, we sent signals out there into space, and we got back something. And they circled it and called it the WOW signal. And that same spot that we got that WOW signal from, well, that's the same location that 3i Atlas is coming from. And it's here. So, 3i Atlas is huge. And it was moving in speeds that I don't think anything human could survive. 130,000 miles an hour. That's fast. That's extremely fast. And it's been seen by Mars, stopped by Mars, like stopped at Mars. And the images we're getting back are wild, to say the least, the very least. And there's people saying it's a comet, it's an asteroid. It's definitely something. And as of right now, because we don't know what it is, it's an unidentified flying object, a UFO. So you tell me. The same thing with the Black Knight satellite. It's been floating outside of our orbit for 60 years now. We still don't know what that is. Man, there's just so much to talk about, and it's Halloween. Happy Halloween, by the way. Sorry I'm not in character. I guess you can call me a lumberjack, or my twin, which is a hairy version of my twin. Some of you guys have probably seen the fishing videos that I posted on my reels and stuff. I appreciate you guys viewing those. I love fishing. It's fun. Hunting is just as fun. But my heart's in the exploring the paranormal. I love that stuff, dude. I'm gonna tell you about a story about what happened to me, my brother, and my sister, and one of her friends in Louisiana. It was at a racetrack, and I was had to have been every bit of 8 years old. Me and my brother was 8, and we were all sitting on top of the bleachers, and she and her friend were talking, and this group of people came around from the farther end of us, and it's nighttime, mind you, okay? Nobody should be wearing sunglasses at a racetrack. It's hard enough to see in darkness. Well, all 4 of our attentions was drawn to this dude, okay? Like, we could not keep our eyes off of him. And he must have felt it and seen it, because when he went to walk by us, he would walk by us like that and just walk staring till he couldn't see us no more. About 30 minutes passed or something like that, and I had to use the restroom, okay? So I go down there, I do my due, I'm washing my hands, and about 5 seconds after I get done drying off, this little hunchback looking dude comes around. He's giggling and shit. And I went to turn around, and I realized I just backed into somebody. And I turned around, and it's that guy with the bucket sunglasses, okay? Now mind you, I've never looked at somebody that close and felt powerless. This man was looking at me like I was not there. He was looking through me, okay? And he's wearing black sunglasses, dude, and I'm telling you, fiery red eyeballs staring back at me. Like, Wesker from Resident Evil, when his eyes are piercing through his fucking glasses, like that was a real fucking thing for me. Like, for me, like, real. There are forces out there more powerful than you and I get that. But that doesn't mean we can't talk about them. We have to talk about this shit. I'm serious. Well, about that time, dude, he was like, he muttered something, some language I can't replicate. I don't know what it was. Man, was it Latin? Probably. Man, it sounded backwards, to be honest with you. But, he ended up leaving. I didn't see that man for another 10 years. And I've aged. I'm 18. You know, puberty is done, came and went. This dude didn't age. This didn't age. This man had no wrinkle, no freckle. His skin was perfect. His hair was jet black, perfect. There was not a strand out of fucking straightness. And he told me that there are things in this world that I'm going to witness, and I have a choice. And that's all he said. And about that time, I got bumped by a couple of people, and I lost my balance, you know. Doing that one, I finally get to, he's gone. These people didn't see him there. In fact, one of these guys was sitting there telling me that I was by myself the whole time. And that was not true, because 2 feet in front of me was another full-grown fucking man. These guys didn't see him. And that's not the only time that's ever happened to me. We'll get to that point here soon. But, let's talk about, like, something that's been on my mind kind of, like, a lot. I can't really go to people and talk about it because I become a loner. I don't know. It's like, people always ask me to let me in. Let them in my mind. And when I open up enough for them just to peek through the crack, what they see is enough to frighten them, kind of a thing. Not like, no. Like, my mind's always thinking about ghosts. My mind's always thinking about, like, what if zombies attacked or something like that. And that could happen. There's footage going around right now of somebody that snuck a camera into a briefing of United States Zombie Defense Force, and that's weird shit to look into. From them talking about a female doctor going around slaying the zombies, to they have one specimen, and that one specimen for them to research is a research doctor. That person themselves was doing research on them, meaning they don't know how long they have until he turned into a zombie. This was months ago, so he's probably dead and gone now. One of the hardest things to think about is, like, we all saw and heard about that Miami salt bath incident where that man was eating that dude on camera on that news station. That was a zombie, dude. Straight up. They even said that in this interview. And there's nothing to convince me otherwise. I can see a full-blown zombie outbreak happening with COVID going around and everybody getting that shot. Not me. I am pure blood. I've never taken a vaccine in my life from the COVID or a booster or nothing like that for the COVID-19. But, these people who do have the vaccines, they have this extra tissue in their body. What is that supposed to do? That extra tissue isn't normal. It came from being shot. And, you have to think, this tissue that's in their veins, does it animate from a certain frequency? Does it animate when you're dead? You know? Because when people get autopsied on, they pull these things out. They're pulling out, 3-meter long tissues from vascular systems. That's the veins. And that should never be there in the first place. Blood clottage kind of from hell. It's been killing people. I'm sure of it. But enough of that. I don't like talking about that kind of shit. You know what we haven't heard of lately? The Jersey Devil. And the Mothman has even made an appearance here lately. But the Jersey Devil, that's something I want to go after. I want to physically bow and arrow, kind of a hunt for this. If y'all don't know the story behind the New Jersey Devil, let me go ahead and fill y'all in. Excuse me real quick. So a long time ago, settlement days, this family had 12 kids, and this woman, the wife, was pregnant with 13, the 13th child. And during a thunderstorm, she was giving birth, and she screamed out, "I hope it's the devil." Well, the lights went out, the doors and windows flung open, and they said this thing came out naturally, but within minutes started transforming. Within minutes transformed into this non-human beast that had a head of a horse, the wings of a bat, the neck of a giraffe kind of a thing, hooves of a donkey, claws, and it went around, flew around, and out the door, into the Pine Barrens of New Jersey. People have seen it. There was a paranormal group that supposedly got infrared imaging of it, and I believe that because it had wings. It looked like a deer, but when it turned, it had wings, and I am a firm believer that was real. I want to go after it so bad. I want to have a trophy room, okay? On my bucket list, I want to taxidermy Bigfoot, Skinwalker, Mothman. I would like to have, like, on my wall, like, I have trout with, like, sea serpents. I'm gonna have a cool man cave when it's all said and done, I promise you. I've had experiences of witches before in Louisiana, close to Cotton Valley. There's a witch that they buried her in the woods, but they got her in a cemetery. But if you go off into the woods for a little while, you'll come across this random pile of cement, and there's candle wax all over it. You can't miss it, man. If you put a rose, freshly rose, and you place it on top of this headstone, I'm sure you guys know how long it takes a rose to turn black. A good while. At least a couple of days to a week or 2-3 weeks. This rose, within about a minute, blacker than my hoodie. And it was impressive because as soon as that rose went dark, we can hear branches breaking, and as soon as it went black, like it went from red to this, to this, to this. And when it did that, man, there was a lantern being carried off in the distance of darkness, and I could not, with my flashlight, there was nobody to see. We just kept hearing chuckling, weird laughter, shit was being thrown at us. When we left, my cousin decided to, she wanted to go home, and we're driving. About halfway through, we decided to go to a party, and so we went to a Houghton, and going up this dirt road, and these I'm gonna say two women. I didn't see a face. Nobody in the vehicle saw a face, but there was two people in a black cloak. One of them carrying a lantern, old-timey looking lantern, very like auburn red, orange looking glowing flame, walks right in front of us. I'm going 30 miles an hour and I slammed on my brakes to stop because these people, these two who I was assuming teenagers, was about to get ran over, disappeared right on the other side of the woods. There was no light, nothing. It was like they never existed in the first place, and that was spooky. Um, we've talked about vampires a little bit. Uh, you know how we had knights and stuff and they all had armor? Have you ever stopped to think about, what caused humans to want to wear armor? I get it. A lot of people with swords roaming around, that's great defense. You won't get cut. I get it. But really, what was that designed for? We had the Knights Templar. There was more to it than churches, What if we had so many monsters and creatures out there, like the werewolves, vampires, stuff like that, that we needed full-blown metal armor to protect ourselves, to fight these things, to exterminate and eradicate these creatures. But what if we didn't kill them all? What if we pushed them back and dwindled their species down to, let's just say, about 2%? Enough to them not want to come out and attack us, but enough of them to breed again. Over the millennia, over the years of generations, to create their own population to come and wipe us out. What if vampires are somewhere in the caves of Americas and England and around the world, and they're just waiting for the perfect time to come out to feed? Who knows? I surely don't know. Trust me, if I was an expert on this, I wouldn't be making podcasts. I'd be vampire hunting, which I want to do so bad. That would sound so fun. Could you imagine being a vampire? What would you do? Comment down below. What would you do if you was a vampire for the rest of your life? Eternity. Like, till the end of time. Obviously, I would really hope you wouldn't be broke. Could you imagine being a vampire a million years later and you had no money? Nothing to show for it? That'd be shitty. You better be a fucking multi-millionaire vampire. All jokes aside, that was another one, Witch Hazel, out here in Swift Creek in Afton, Wyoming. There's a witch, and they burned her into a tree, and the tree didn't burn. They literally had fire around her, but the tree would not burn. She did. But the tree ended up getting cut down up here, and you can go out to it. They put a picnic table over this supposed tree that was there. I've seen her with my own eyes. She was walking down by this pipeline, and she had blonde hair. She's a very, very short-looking lady. The last time me and my friend was up there, I told him straight up when we pulled up, I was like, watch. Now I got out and I was like, Witch Hazel, I've come for you. Witch Hazel, come talk to us too. And I joked around. I said, man, watch this one random lady just show up. And he was like, nah. Well, we ended up moving rocks around. We're looking for some gemstones and stuff like that. Really cool looking rocks. And I'm about waist deep in this hole. And I hear, and I stop and I look. There was a dog and a woman. Just like I predicted, a woman. I didn't think about the dog. Well, I offered her a rock and she took it. So her and her dog turned and start walking and leave. Within about a couple of minutes, it takes about a good 10 minutes to get from the bottom up. It doesn't take a minute down. There's no way. That's fucking... She wasn't there. There was no signs of her. There was no sign of her dog. Me and my friend was really kind of surprised. I do believe that was her. Physically. Not in her rich form. honestly. I think she was a different form. Um, I went hunting one time. I got chill bumps about to talk about this one, because I like this one. But I went hunting in Louisiana, and every time I hunted this spot, I always had a feeling I was being watched, you know? But this one particular time, my dad decided to stay home, and I walked out to the spot that he always told me to go sit at and try. But every step I would take about a certain depth into this forest at night, I'm walking, and I would take 2 more steps. I ran. Something was chasing me. Well, finally I stopped. And I said, fuck it. I had a 45-70, it's a massive, the bullet's huge, And I aimed it in the same direction as whatever it was chasing me, and I fucking fired. And I hit something. It screamed. Like, blood-curdling scream. It reverberated in my lungs, let's say it like that. You ever heard a roar so deep that every organ in your body rattled? Like, you could physically feel your teeth rattling in your skull. It was such a roar. I've heard that. I've experienced it that morning. 12 minutes later, I had a game warden stop by and check on me. I guess it was a routine check stop. But I asked him, I was like, hey, is there anything in these woods that I need to be aware of? And he told me a story about their supposed Bigfoots in his woods and werewolves. And now that caught my attention. And he asked me why. And I pointed off in the same direction that I fired into. And he looked at me, and he looked at that. It was like a tunnel made out of broken sticks. So much so there was a broken stick. It was still hanging like this. Fresh hanging. And he walked up there and he's like, man, this is about 7 to 8 feet off the ground, dude. What could have caused this? I said, honestly, sir, that's why I'm asking you. Every step I took, there was a thump on the ground. I took off running, and it was thumping behind me, chasing me. And I fired. I hit something, and it took off running after it screamed. Well, there was blood found. There was samples taken, and he sent it into the lab. I have not heard anything back from that, and it's been years. 2018, I think it was. So, that was my proof that it was a cryptid of some sort. Get this channel to 1,000 likes and subscribers. 1,000 subscribers, and I'll tell you about my first time astral projecting. That, let's just say this: if I didn't change the path that I was on, and I would have died, I would have went to hell. I have a feeling that's what it was showing me. I have a feeling that's what I saw was hell, because I've seen some things down there, dude, that I wouldn't have thought it was real if it wasn't for the things that I've seen in this life. There's a house I used to live in when I was a child, and it was a pretty spooky house. We called it the House 55. There was one night I could hear what sounded like Motrin bottles trying to, how the lid would every time you couldn't open it and you didn't put enough pressure down. And I was sitting on the table in the living room, and I'm staring at it, and I thought I was sitting there watching the lid twist by itself, nobody around it, like 1 in the fucking morning, maybe 3 in the morning, and I'm tired of fucking hearing this noise, dude. So I get up and I go walk up to it, and halfway from my room to the living room is a hallway to the bathroom. The light was on, and I froze. I was standing in front of my mirror, was this 6, maybe 5 foot, 6 foot tall creature. It had a tail, wings, and horns that came up and did this motion and shot back down. And it was talking to something in the mirror because the mirror was shimmery, like doing that motion, but I could clearly see just the face. And as soon as, like, I think the thing in the mirror saw me or something, because immediately the creature outside the mirror looked at me. It took one step and did this motion, and right there, and I woke up in my freaking bed. I had bruises on my chest, massive, like a hand, bigger than my body, dude. Bruise everywhere, and that was wild. I've never seen that thing again. There was one night, me and my brother went to go to sleep, and I went to my room, and outside my window were these two different color eyeballs. One was blue, the other was red, orange, or something like that. The blue was a circle eyeball, like pupil, you know what I mean? This one was a slit pupil, and they had been size of grapefruits. They were huge. I don't know what this, to this day, I cannot tell you what that was. That was weird. Like, I wasn't the only person to see that. My brother was next to me when we both witnessed that. He saw the eyes, just like I saw the eyes. And again, these eyes had to have been this big around. You know, there's nothing in Louisiana that has eyeballs that big around. Because if you have eyes that big around, you're a massive fucking creature. You're about the size of a fucking house. And so, I saw that. I've been abducted. I don't like talking about that because nobody fucking believes you. But it's true. Me and my brother was, same house, 55. We was at night, it was about 9 o'clock, we was throwing a football back and forth under the street lights, and I remember seeing 6 white circles in a perfect circle come over our house, and then a red light in the middle of it started gleaming. And the next thing I remembered after that was I was on a table, my brother was over here, and there were these gray aliens all around us. There was right here by my head, okay? I had to do this to look at him. But he was in a robe. He wasn't very tall, about 3 feet tall. But it was kind of like a frog mixed with an alligator. And he was holding a staff, and he told me, telepathically, told me, don't be afraid. It'll be over soon. And I came back. I was in my room. My mom and dad they didn't know how we got in our rooms. Because we didn't come in any doors. My mom was in the kitchen. My dad was in the living room. Nobody saw us come in the house. And we were too short to reach the windows. So, that was a pretty interesting experience I've had. One of the most terrifying moments I've ever had in the woods. Now that is a fun story. I went camping. And I saw something. It had a blue face. I'm not making this up. Hand on the Bible, man. I saw a blue face peer behind my tent. And I'm with 2 people who I thought, you know, at the time were really good friends, but they didn't see it. And all I wanted to do was run in that direction that I saw it. I mean, I watched it run off into the distance. You know, it was blue. And the further it got, the grayer it became, to the point where it would turn to black. Because it was just, that's how light works at night, you know, from a flame. Well, we finally decided to go back into the tent. Because I've done freaked everybody out. Because they think I'm making a ghost story for the fire. And, the fire went out. We started hearing branches around the tent breaking. And about that time, I want to say it was a rock. Maybe it was a pine cone. Something round, very small, but it hit the tent with such a force that it scared us. And we got out of that fucking tent and took off running with no lights. Now these two went to the left. I went right. And they made it back to the vehicles. And I went further into the woods. And I didn't see anything. But I just kept hearing what sounded like a whistle, like a kind of a thing. But it would draw my attention. And I would walk in that direction. And they would be going off on my right. And it was just making me go further into the woods. I had to find the river to physically find my way back. Like, it brought me that far back out, okay? No idea what it was at all. I couldn't tell you. I felt like I forgot something, but I don't remember what I was going to say. Oh, I think I might have talked about it earlier. I'm not really sure. That's the only thing that sucks about being by yourself. I don't have any paperwork. I'm trying to go off of memory right now. But give me some slack. It's about 1 in the morning, so... The family reunion I went on in Arkansas. About 2:30, there was a bear and stuff that would touch the thing, and my friend Parker, or my cousin Parker, and I went out to investigate to see if we could see it, and we didn't see it. I recorded what was a spider making a web, and I heard something off to the right, and I went like that, didn't see anything. Went off to the left, didn't see anything, went back to the right, and I never physically saw it until I went back inside. And it was the next day. The next day, I saw a face staring back at me. And audio was recorded coming from its mouth. Literally. Anuka was the voice that it recorded. I don't know what this means. So the next time I come around a Bigfoot, or I think I'm around a Bigfoot, I'm gonna yell Anuka. Just to see what it does. I'm being serious too. I'm not making that up. But, yeah. If you have any experiences, then you would like to share them, comment down and below. Hit that like button. It lets me know that you guys are watching this, and honestly, like I said, this is my first podcast and my first ghost hunt video. I'm not a noob. I'm just an amateur professional right now, but I will be getting to where y'all will be like, damn, this dude's putting out bangers, and I will get there. This is just my first video, ending the year pretty much of... Fuck, we're like a week away from another video, and I'm just trying to figure it out. It's like a hollow kind of a thought process right now because I don't know what I want to do. But happy Halloween, guys. Like I said, it was a very fun, eventful night. Caught some cat balls going off. Heard a giggle. Smash that like button. Comment down below where you would like to see me investigate next. And guys, hit that subscribe button. It helps me out way more than y'all know. It lets me know that y'all like the content. Y'all like seeing the fishing videos, the huntings type of thing. It lets me know what you're into, And I'm not trying to impress everybody, but if you're into fishing, I got you. If you're into hunting, I got you. If you're into ghost hunting, I got you. If you like podcast, I got you. You know, I'm I'm a jack of all trades. I try to make everybody happy at the cost of my own happiness. I'm not even gonna lie. It's the truth, you know. Fuck, I'm a truthful guy, you know. Um, if you didn't like this channel, that's fine. Be my biggest hater, please. Even my haters are appreciated, but my haters make me greater. Uh, but yeah, like I said, I'll have a link down below in the future episodes and stuff when I have my store up and running for my merchandise. I'm pretty sure we're probably going to do that through either a website or through YouTube. I'm not entirely sure yet. Give me some ideas. Maybe I can blankets or something. Maybe I can do pajama pants. Christmas season's coming up, so I'll have some ideas for that. Maybe I can have some links down below. Hell, if y'all ever want to go ghost hunting or something like that, let me know. I'll reach back to you as soon as I can. You can find me on Facebook, Cody Terrell. Look for a picture of 3 ghosts doing a podcast. Like I said before, my name is Cody. This is eFox Realm. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Peace.